Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, and for today's video, we are going to discuss the phases of Copar. So with regards to the concepts of Copar or your community organizing participatory action research, I will leave the link below sa ating description box para po mapanood nyo muna ang community organizing participatory action research video ko, because if you're not able to understand that concept, you'll not be able to understand the phases of Copar. So paki-access na lang po below sa ating description box kung hindi nyo pa nadidiscuss ang community organizing concept and participatory action concept. And if you're not yet a subscriber of this channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, of course, comment na rin po and share this video to your friends. Let's talk about phases of Copar. When we talk about phases of Copar, different books has different phases, but based on the researches po na nakikita natin online, I mean, nakikita natin na ginagamit nila during exams for the board exam. Mas madalas po na nagagamit or may nakukuhang questions with regards sa topic na diniscuss ni Sister Jimenez, which is the book of Sister Jimenez about community organizing participatory action research. So most, if not all, of the concepts that we will be discussing today will be based on that book. This is actually a brown book, maliit po siyang book. Now, let's start. So we talk about phases of Copar, guys. There are 6 phases of Copar, namely your pre-entry, entry, your research phase, your organization phase, your mobilization phase, and the last one is your sustainability and building, your sustainability and sustenance phase. So these are the 6 phases that we are going to tackle today under the phases of Copar. So let's go and start the discussion. Let's go with your pre-entry phase, or the first phase of your Copar. So the first phase of Copar is your pre-entry phase. In that part of discussion, we will be dividing the topics into two: the main activity under each phases, and what are the things or activities that you're going to do in order to achieve, or to complete the pre-entry phase or the other phases or the succeeding phases. So for your first phase, your pre-entry phase, the main activity here or objective is the site selection. Basically, we are going to check or select now which community are we going to cater, or where are we going to immerse and conduct now your COPAR or community organizing participatory action research. And these are the specific activities under your pre-entry phase. Number 1 is your formulation of goals, objectives, and targets. So the formulation of goals, objectives, and targets was actually the done prior of you guys selecting the community site where you're going to conduct your COPAR. So basically, ginagawa po ito sa school kasi ang COPAR po was actually na-distribute na po or naidagdag sa curriculum ng mga nurses and midwives, and during the implementation, sila na rin po ang nagkakandak nito. So the activities was actually under the activities under your pre-entry phase. So before we select a community, first is the School of Nursing or the College of Nursing, the College of Midwife will need to create or formulate first the goals, objectives, and the target, okay, necessary for them to continue with the process. After formulating the goals, objectives, and targets, of course, all members of the COPAR team will need to undergo trainings. So the COPAR staff will need to undergo trainings. This includes now the faculty staff of the School of Nursing and the School of Midwifery. And of course, we also need to conduct training to our students. So basically, the discussions that I am doing right now is part of your training before, supposedly before your immersion. But there are instances na nauuna yung immersion nyo kesa yung concept itself, which is dapat hindi. So that is the second activity under your pre-entry phase. Aside from that, you also need to establish criteria for site selection. We are not just going to select a particular community. We are going to select a community based on the criteria that we are going to set, or based on the book. Number 1, okay, for the criteria, we have your dopes. As you can see here, we have your dopes. When I talk about dopes is your D for depressed community, O for oppressed community, P for poor community, and E, exploited, and your S is your struggling. Let me repeat that. That is your D for depressed, O for oppressed, P, okay, P for your poor, E for your exploited, and S is for struggling community. So depressed, oppressed, poor, exploited, and struggling. So those are five criteria that we need to consider whenever we select a community. Dapat po yung community is depressed, oppressed, poor, exploited, and struggling. On top of that, okay, we have to make sure that one of the criteria also is that the community should be safe. Okay, should be safe from any type of harm. Okay, for example, kung meron man po mga tulisan or may mga taong labas na pwedeng manakit sa atin on the area, of course, we will not be choosing that community because it will pose a danger not only to the community people but most especially to us, the outsiders. Okay? Aside from that, we also need to make sure that the community is not an empowered community. When you say not an empowered community, okay, there are less than 100 empowered families in the community. There should be a less than 100 empowered families in the community. And the last one is that the community that we are going to select should be able to adapt to change, will bring about change, and will carry out changes. Okay, dapat hindi po sila takot sa pagbabago, gusto nila ng pagbabago at hindi po sila resistant sa mga pagbabago. So those are the criteria that we need to consider whenever we select a community where are we going to conduct or perform your Copar. Then on top of aside from that, okay, still under your pre-entry phase, we are going to do your PSI. So PSI guys, what is PSI? Preliminary Social Investigation. Let me repeat that. Preliminary Social Investigation. What do we mean by preliminary social investigation? Preliminary meaning before going to the community or after selecting now the community and before you go to the actual community in person, you have to conduct or we have to perform your PSI or preliminary social investigation. Your preliminary social investigation is the collection of secondary data. So this is the collection of secondary data about the community. What does it mean? We are going to collect now all the available information that are published in the registrar's office of the municipality where the barangay or the community is located. Of course, we are going to get all the information available online, the library, in the barangay health center, in the barangay hall itself, in the municipality where the community is located. We have to gather all the information that has been published about the community, which will serve as your secondary data. So this secondary data would already give us an idea of what to expect now to this particular community. Like for example, the population, how many people are living in the community, how many household or how family, okay, and what type of terrain are we expecting. So those information that are available online on the community barangay health center, on barangay hall, and even in the municipality where the community that was selected is located. So yun po yung mga information na pwede nating mabasa even without us going to the community. So those are your secondary data which will be taken prior of us entering the community, which is during your PSI or preliminary social investigation. Aside from that, okay, after that we will before once we already have an idea, okay, we will be conducting now your community baseline study. So your community baseline study would still be based on the information that we have gathered during the preliminary social investigation. Okay? Then, once we already have enough information and we already have an idea about the community, we are now ready to go to the community. But before we enter the community itself, we have to ask permission to the person in charge of that community. So this is the time that we are going to do now your courtesy call. So courtesy call is wherein we go to the officials informing them that we are from this school and we are going to conduct now your Copar, and you state your purpose so that they'll be able to know and identify now to know now your purpose of going to the community, and of course they will able to now support whatever programs and projects that you're going to implement in order to help the community. And this is also the time wherein you're going to get another information firsthand from the barangay officials on what to expect about their community. So with this courtesy call, you have to bring with you the letter of communication from the school where you are studying. Okay, that would be of course kukunin niya ng instructor nyo, and ibibigay yan doon sa barangay officials as a document that you really did a courtesy call, okay, to pay courtesy, okay, sa mga barangay officials in respect, because you will be entering their community, and they are considered to be the representative of the community itself. Okay? So after the courtesy call, we are now ready to go around the community and conduct now your community health assessment needs, particularly your windshield survey or your familiarization survey. So your familiarization survey is wherein we go around the community, okay, we take note of the profiles. Ito yung bahay ni Kapitan, ito yung tindahan, ito yung puno ng mangga, okay, and that is your ocular inspection. Under this, we'll able now to be familiarized with the community so that when we conduct now our home visits, alam natin yung mga pasikot-sikot. And this is commonly done during the first day that we come into the community to observe. Okay, so napaka-importante ng ocular inspection, because under this, you'll be able now to create your spot map, and the spot map would now serve as a guide, okay, regarding the directions that you're going into whenever you're going to conduct your community duty. Okay, so your ocular inspection would also give us an idea what to expect about the community itself by observing now the community surrounding and the community terrain. Okay, para makapag-prepare din kayo whenever you're going to perform now or conduct your what should I say, your home visit or your community visit. So that is your ocular inspection. So basically, ang magagawa natin dito sa ocular inspection is your spot mapping. So once we have that, okay, we are now ready to profile the community. Like what I said earlier, your ocular inspection is basically familiarization. So, and during ocular inspection, you'll be able to know now where is the bahay of barangay captain, kaninong bahay ito, kaninong bahay iyon, saan ang boundaries ng community. And in that case also, since sa pag-iikot mo, maaring may makikita ka rin na may mga sakit, okay, you'll able to profile them. Kung may buntis, alam mo na kung saan yung direct na bahay na pupuntahan. So that's your community profiling. And we also going to do now your community assembly. So your community assembly together with the barangay officials and the representative on health. We are going to conduct now your community assembly. This is basically to know, okay, or inform the community about the programs or about the activity that we are going to do in the community, which is your Copar process. And after that, okay, we are going to coordinate again to the LGU or to the barangay officials prior to arrival, so kung kailan kayo darating at papasok sa community. At the same time, the community barangay or the barangay would also give us an idea, okay, an idea kung kaninong pamilya saang bahay tayo titira during the immersion process. Yes, you heard it correctly. So during your Copar process, we really have to live together with the community. So that is your pre-entry phase under your Copar phases.